marketers and experts as we talk business. Hi there, and welcome to MX24. This is Spotlight Business. My name is Philip Nanfuri, and we are live on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, on YouTube also. It's MX24GH. I want to say a very big thank you for joining us here. And on tonight's edition, we'll be talking entrepreneurship with Philip Ajipong. He's the CEO of Phil & Joe Shoe Company. They are based here in Accra. He's also a friend of mine, a very good friend from back in the day in high school. And later on, he decided to chart a different path into shoemaking and shoe production. And if our director is gracious to show my feet, I wear only his shoes made in Ghana. And that's my contribution to the Made in Ghana campaign. I only support what is made in here. I have bought shoes internationally, shoes that have been imported, but getting my size, it's a big problem, and he's been there since our school days, sorting me out with my footwear. So he's our guest tonight. We'll be delving into his story, how he started, what pushed him to start, how he survived his days in Legon, combining this business at the same time, studying geography, single major, and yes, it's a very interesting story. I want you to hear this, our viewers and listeners out there. So sit back, relax, we'll get the conversation rolling, and he will tell us also how he survived in the COVID-19 pandemic. He has an interesting story to share of how he more or less didn't take on a lot of help that people are taking on. He's been able to water the storm, or weather the storm, I beg your pardon, and he's here with us tonight. Philip Ajipong, CEO, Phil & Joe Company. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Tarabi.
Awesome, bro.
So I want to say a very big thank you for joining us here tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of things are going through my mind, looking at you from school days back to now.
Yeah.
The first thing I want all of us to understand. What pushed you to start? I have a bit of the story, but I want you to tell it. What pushed you to start? When did you start?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. So what had happened was in 2013 in Legon, back then. You remember Smacky Soul?
Yes,
right?
I remember.
So what had happened was every single time, every single vacation, I have to wait for somebody who had traveled to come back and give me shoes. So that was proper fashionable.
Yeah.
So then I had to look good, you see. And then I think one of these vacations, my cousin didn't show up.
Yeah.
And then I was found wanted, but then I still had to go to school. They go on, when you're there, you have to make sure that you
keep up the appearances.
Exactly. So that had happened, right? And then I also didn't want to repeat some of the old shoes. So in my neighborhood, I spotted this shoemaker, really small shoemaker. He was doing like repairs and things. So I took some of my old shoes to him, and I'm like, listen, boss, his name is Master Kwabna. I'm like, Master Kwabna. And amazing story that I still work with him after from 2013 till now.
7 years.
So I'm like, Master Kwabna, let's try and make this one. He said, no, it's not possible. He doesn't know. I said, no, I'll guide you. I'll take you through. So story fast forwarded, Master Kwabna made a few samples. And then I realized that there are also other people who had the same problem. If you don't get shoes from overseas, you can't get shoes over here.
Yeah. Right?
So that had happened. I realized that there was a demand for it. People would see my shoes and they'll comment. And they didn't believe that it was made in Ghana. That was what was amazing. I was still sticking to the story that, it was imported. But then at a point in time, I'm like, no, you know what? It's made right here. I made it. And that's what happened. That's how the story started.
Okay, so 2013, were in, I think we're in third year going into fourth year.
Going into fourth year, yeah.
Okay, and you started off with Sparky Souls.
Yes, which was like a much casual, much informal type. So transitioning into the corporate world, because I did national service,
Okay.
I listened to the what the people say. I listened, so I had to move from casual shoes to formal shoes now, if you understand.
Okay. So do you still do the casual?
No, currently not.
More of a,
yeah,
more of a
formal shoes.
Formal shoes. And your shoe company name is Phil and Joe. If I'm right on your social media handles, Phil and Joe 233.
233, exactly.
What's the meaning? I know you're called Philip, obviously, but what goes into the Phil and Joe and the 233?
So a lot of people ask that question. So what it is a play on words. So it's Phil, shoes made by Phil for the average Joe.
That's smart.
So what I'm selling is affordable luxury. And because it's custom shoes as well, it's a combination of Phil and then your input as the average Joe for, the normal person, if you get what I mean.
Okay,
so it's affordable luxury and
so
for the average Joe.
Shoes made by Phil for the average Joe.
So and the 233 over there is the Ghanaian code.
The Ghanaian code.
Just to spice it up a little bit.
When you were starting there,
yes.
you know, back in school, everybody is thinking of national service, 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
When you were starting, did you ever think that you would transition fully into doing this, or you thought you'd be doing a 9 to 5 and this would be on the side? What were some of the things that were going through your mind when you started in 2013?
Okay, so, I was still in university in 2013. So moving forward out of school, 2014, I had to do national service. So balancing the national service and this, it wasn't the easiest thing. But then the demand was growing in the corporate world, like dealing with the people that I was dealing with. The demand was growing. Made in Ghana goods were getting traction.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it was a big risk to take because you can't really tell. I sat down, went through a business plan, thought about projections and everything. And I'm like, you know what, let's try this for a while. And that was about it.
And that's how it's come.
Yeah.
This question always comes when I have discussions about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
People are always asking about how did you start? People always seem to oversee the issue. So, do I have to get workers? Do I get the equipment? When you were starting, you just mentioned the business plan, but piecing them together in your mind.
Yeah.
What were some of the experiences that you had? Making sure that you had the right workers. You mentioned Master Kwabena, the right equipment. What were some of the things that were going through your mind?
Okay, so what had happened was, till now, we keep set up very self-reliant. So it's, in the beginning, obviously, funding from very close family that started this thing, right? And then because, like I was saying, I was self-reliant, we made sure, if it's one worker that our setup was very small. 2 workers at first. Now we have about 8 to 12 workers, because some of them go and come. So we made sure we moved up like progressively. We didn't try because people take loans and whatnot. But we never believed in that. So we worked with our resources, what we had in our company, what the company was producing. So we made sure we were moving step by step against going for a loan or a financial whatever.
So invariably, when you are talking to people in the financial institutions, and I would reference Kenneth Thompson, he's the CEO of a fine financial institution, Delex Finance. He says entrepreneurs take money from family, friends, and fools.
Exactly, the 3 Fs.
The 3 Fs. Yeah. So yours was mainly family.
Yeah.
Did you have any friends feeling like, you know what, Kobe, take this money, or Philip, take this money, that's free. Go and do what you want to do with it. Did you have anything like that happening?
I could say yes. There were some friends that, they saw the vision from the start. So like, yo, let's help you out, whatnot. But then, was mostly family.
Was mostly family. So you've never really decided to, a lot of Ghanaians and a lot of Ghanaian business owners, when we are going to start a business, the first thing we think of is debt. So going to take a loan, going to a financial institution to borrow. Did you ever have that thought to like, you know what, let me go for a loan to augment what? Did it ever cross your mind at all?
No, at all. I 100% don't believe in loans.
I like that.
Yeah, at least for now.
For now.
But then, I don't believe in loans. I don't think I can fall asleep if I own a financial institution.
Okay, so there's a question I pinned here. That I wanted to ask you, and it's more or less like what I just asked before. in terms of framing of a mindset, because there's always this problem about mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I think we are more used to things being established and we fit ourselves in. So like a plug and play system.
Yeah.
But you are starting from the ground up.
Yeah.
When you were starting, for example, something like location, equipment, did you yourself think about it? Did you have help? Did you have meetings with your friends, with your family, for you guys to help figure out what is right, what is wrong, you know, stuff like that?
Okay, so I have a small board that helped me make these kind of decisions. And like I was saying, because of the self-reliant nature, we never went ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
So we set targets for ourselves. So then, and I'll tell you this, most of shoe production is human resource based. So it's getting the right kind of workers as against equipment. I mean, the equipment factor is there, but then mostly getting the right kind of workers. So to answer your question, it was me juggling with the right human resource rather than what equipment, and then training and retraining. You understand what I'm saying?
And you talk about training and retraining.
Yeah.
You as an individual.
Yeah.
You are the manager, the CEO of the business.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel the need to? Obviously, you went to the University of Ghana.
Yeah.
Very good school.
Yeah.
But did you feel you needed some extra skills to help you manage?
I did take a course, was a short express course in Kumasi actually, where they take you through the basics, because then you can't manage people if you yourself don't know what you're doing. Exactly. And then most of these things can just go underneath you. And then another thing is, because I take in the orders, and the main task is materializing what the customer has told you. And I mean, you are producing the pair based on the conversation that you have had. And this is me working with people in the informal sector, as in like workers, and trying to share in my vision. Tell them that we're not making substandard shoes. We're making shoes that should be able to sit on the shelves with other big brands. So the task over there is me having a little bit of the skills to be able to direct them and say, you know what, this threading, you know something from where you've learned it forever, but this threading shouldn't go here, because I've also done my research and things. Or then this sole, you need to dye it this certain way, if you get what I mean.
I get you perfectly. There's also something I need to ask you.
Yes,
and
please.
I know sometimes business owners don't like to divulge a lot of information. So if you won't, I understand. Your siting of your shop or your factory.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider getting it close to the raw material, or your raw material is not even based in Accra? What were some of the things that went into your factory
the
siting?
setup.
Yeah.
Okay, so the factory, I don't think it was for the factory. I mean, I work at the factory, and then I sell some of the products in other stores in Accra. So where the factory is had nothing to do
with it.
Yeah, do with the raw materials and everything.
So it's just a matter of getting it in there.
Getting it in there.
And then the guys working on
exactly.
it. So in terms of, I see your post a lot on Instagram, social media. Which part of Accra are you based in? Osu?
No, in Awodome Estates.
Okay.
So if you type in Phil and Joe's Shoe Company on Google Maps, it brings you directly to us. And that's the studio. That's the showroom.
That's the showroom. So is that different from the factory, or
no? That's different from the factory.
So where do we find the factory? That's.
I mean, it's
not something that you want to.
It's in Accra. Yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned the access to finance bit. I mean, it's something that I wanted to dwell heavily on.
Okay.
Since you've mentioned that you've sourced your funds mainly from family,
yeah.
I think because there's been an issue, and just for our viewers and listeners, there's been an issue when it comes to access to finance in the country. Largely, there's always the cost of the finance also, and then getting into the financial institutions itself to access this finance. But you have an entrepreneur here telling us that he's able
self-reliance.
Self-reliance is the word to gather the funds. So it is possible, perhaps based on the business model or some things like that, but it is possible. Now, I want us to talk about your products itself.
Yeah.
For example, what I'm wearing, and if I want to talk to our viewers and listeners. I'm a size 47 in terms of my foot size. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to buy my foot size,
Yeah.
I will need extra Ghana cedis to get a comfortable one, or else I'll
Yeah.
buy a somewhat tight one and then I'll be blistering. When your customers, potential customers, come to you, what is the process that you take them through? I know you have to do a bit of a foot drawing and stuff like that, but give it to us from your perspective.
Okay, so let me walk you through from the top. So I always tell people that I don't want to only sell shoes to you. I want to sell you a whole experience, right? So saying that you hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, or something like that. So then we start off the conversation, right? Because it's custom shoes as well, we offer you what we have on the shelf. And then, I mean, some customers ask specifically for specific things on the product. So then, if, I mean, it's brown pair of shoes, but then they want them black with gold threading, something. So we walk you through the whole procedure, and then we make sure we're on the same page with what you decided. So you ask us for brown pair, gold threading, red soles under, something. So we have that conversation, and then the way our pricing is, based on the level of customization, the pricing, I mean, it affects the pricing. Okay, so then we go through that. Then after, what happens is we issue an invoice. The invoice is so that we are at the same level with the conversation. Like what we talked about is listed specifically on the invoice for the price as well. So that happens. If you like what you see, you send in a 70% deposit. Then some people have standard sizes, like you, like this. Like your size wasn't standard. I have to always send a courier who knows how to take foot measurements. So for some people who have standard sizes and are sure, we just let it go. But then most of the time we ask you to allow us to come and take a measurement of your foot. So we do that, and then we tell you our shoes take 15 to 21 working days.
15 to 21 working days?
Yes, please.
Okay.
To make.
So that's basically 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
3-4 weeks. Yeah, we keep it safe. Want to make sure that our shoes are there.
And let me just ask this here. A lot of Ghanaians talk about sticking to deadlines. Do you stick to your deadlines?
So what happens is we manage expectations.
Okay.
So depending on how it goes, like if something changes or if like pressure is on the factory, we let you know. We send you a text. We tell you that, hi, it's approaching. Your time is approaching, but due to X, Y, Z, we need a few more days. Then we let you know.
And then are your customers receptive? Are they?
Our customers, I mean, it's a business that we're running. We have a few customers that have complaints, but then for every customer that has a complaint, we make sure we try and solve it all through. But then, yeah, some customers do understand. But apart from, I mean, people will call you and say, I have a wedding on X day. Those people we try not to. Or then there are times where I have to turn down an order. It's a very painful thing to do, but I tell you that, listen, looking at my production, I cannot make this time. But then we give you an express option, which is very rare, but then we take express orders. That one means I don't have to sleep for a few days. Then yeah.
Okay. You've been running the business for about 7 years.
Well, Phil and Joe for 5 years, going on 6.
Okay. And every institution records a number of notable moments, milestones. I know you've been interviewed by the BBC.
Yeah.
I think that was a very good one, getting your brand and product out there, especially highlighting the Made in Ghana issue.
Yeah.
Apart from that, what are some of the notable milestones? And I want you to take your time and enumerate some of them for us. Because I know some of them, but I want to pretend I'm completely oblivious of them.
For the viewers.
Yes, please. For the viewers.
Okay, so off the top of my head, right. So I think, well, not I think. I know that in the first year of running the business, we got approached by TEDx. TEDx Accra had a talk here, and they made us, we were like the official shoe sponsors for TEDx Accra. I think that was in 2016. That was pretty big for us because we had just come on the scene. We didn't know what was going on, and we were like, okay, that's amazing. So that happened. Then down, like in the same year, we got a call from the office of the president to make a pair of shoes for
Okay.
the current president. That too was huge for us. That some of the nights I have not have been up.
Let me,
Yeah.
before you continue, I want to delve into that. So when you got, did you get a call? Did you get a letter? Did you get a text? Did you get a WhatsApp?
I mean, some of these things I can't really reveal, but yeah. But then,
what were some of the emotions going through your mind?
and I thought, nah,
geez.
it's not true. I mean, it's somebody playing a game with us, but then, yeah, we made it. We have shots on our page. Like, they sent us actual shots of him wearing it. We're like, wow.
And then he was pleased with it.
He was pleased with it. He was pleased with it. And then, yeah, so that happened as well.
Okay.
Then this was also another big one. I'm not sure what year it was, maybe 2018. When Prince Charles was in Ghana, there was like a dinner banquet in his honor. And they had just a few brands handpicked.
Okay.
There was a fashion show in his honor as well, right? And then we are part of the few brands that were handpicked to have our product modeled in front of Prince Charles and his wife. So that too was pretty big for us. Then one of the years as well, I'm not sure, 2019, Discovery of the Year we are nominated Discovery of the Year for Emmy Africa.
Okay.
It's also a big magazine, big corporation.
Okay.
And then, like you said, BBC.
Yeah.
So looking at all of these things, I mean, running a business in Ghana, like just normal entrepreneurship, sometimes I'm like, yo, what are we really doing this for? There's always that moment where it's like, see, should we just pack up shop, stop it, it's not working. I think about all of these milestones and these kind of things. I'm like, it gets better.
It gets better.
Yeah.
There are two questions I want to ask about these milestones.
Yeah.
The perception in our country is that sometimes people like accolades, they like names. Somebody wants to be called Dr. This, Professor this. What do you make? You just said that these milestones have helped, but at the back of your mind, do you feel like in the business that you are in, it's necessary for some traction or not?
Okay, so I'll say two things. First being, it attracts some customers. So people see that, if you've done X, Y, Z, it means like they trust you enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so like after the BBC interview, like sales
went up.
Yeah, because then we've seen you on BBC for luxury brands in Ghana, getting calls from all over the world. So it does help, but then also it puts you, now you're under scrutiny.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. Now, like I said already, it was a business 5 years. You still, every single day we're perfecting something, right? But then you've put me on a pedestal now. So I've become.
You have to live up to those expectations.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so I have to. Yeah, realistically, I need to live up to those expectations. So there's the downside, there's a good side. Sometimes we celebrate about it. Sometimes too, yeah. And then also we have clients that are pushed away because they think because you are on all of these wonderful platforms, your pricing is
high, so
yeah.
you can't. So in such a situation, how will you deal with that customer who feels maybe, for lack of a better word, your goods are bourgeoisie? How will you deal with such a customer who feels like you are above his pay grade? And
I mean, in the conversation, I don't. I mean, you have to reach out to us and talk to us, and then we let you know pricing or whatever. Like, there's no direct way we can. Yeah, you've seen it somewhere. You've seen that, the president was wearing it. It was on BBC, blah, blah, Prince Charles. But then talk to us. Maybe it's within your price range.
Okay. In terms of your products again, and forgive me, I may not be too in tune with the names, but somebody sees a shoe and then just says, that's a shoe.
Yeah.
But what's
the breakdown?
The breakdown of the name. So, for example, what do you have on? What do you call this
these
type?
I call dummy monk straps, because there's monk straps, but this is like a monk straps with a little twist.
Okay.
Right? And then this is like
Cavallino.
No. It's goat's fur.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
it's goat fur. Yeah.
So monk straps.
Yeah, dummy monk strap.
Okay.
Because the strap is just for aesthetics. It's not.
Okay. And what do I have on?
So these are wingtips.
Okay.
With punches.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, punch wingtips.
Okay. So for a customer who may not be in tune with these things and just comes and says, yo, Philip, I want a shoe. How do you sit them down to explain the different types
Okay,
that you
so
have in there?
just, yeah, there's the shoemaker 101. First off, it depends on where you saw us at. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Send us a screenshot and let's discuss this pair of shoes. So that's the first one. And then under all of our posts, we have our shoe descriptions. So we tell you that this is loafers, this is Oxford, these are boots.
Okay. So let me just cut you right now. We have something displayed on air.
Yes.
I'm sure you can see it.
Yeah.
What would you call that?
So this is a female pair, right? So
Okay.
it's a maskless pair of Yanfers. So and then we also have a thing that we do at our shop where we have some customers that pushed us to the limit, I'll say.
Okay.
And we have some shoes named after some customers. So these dress shoes is actually a female pair.
Okay.
Right? The originator, or the person who put the design together, the first design together at our shop was a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Yanfer Hackman.
Okay.
So play on words on his name, so it's called Yanfers. But these Yanfers are without the mask. So we explain it to you step by step.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's for the female.
Yeah.
As we go on, we'll be showing. Okay, so we have another pair up there. I think.
Okay. It's
so,
3 different pairs.
Okay, and what are they?
Okay, so the first one is also the Yanfers as well, which is our bestseller.
Wow.
Right? The second one is like similar to the one that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
It's the Cavallino Fair, dummy monk straps. The third one is called the Diego's. Also a customer of ours that pushes. Like, we appreciate those things. When the customers, it took us 6 weeks to come up with this design. Because we sat with him, you say, no, he doesn't want it this way, he wants it this way. And then I had to physically meet him, my sketch pad. Are you ready? Then you say, no, come back again. So yeah, those are the Diegos. Also another bestseller.
So you have some customers that are pushing you to...
And we like the challenge.
And it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. So I know shoes, normally we are all accustomed to black and brown. If you have somebody with a funky taste, that comes for... He wants a blue, he wants a red. Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility.
It can be done?
Yeah, it can be done.
Okay. So
blue,
right now...
red, gold, anything.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, we have a brown...
Yeah, so I'll call it tan.
Okay.
Yeah,
tan.
so it's a tan pair of mask loafers, and then the other one is tassel loafers. So it's the same type, but one has a mask on it, a little mask on it. The other one has tassels on it. So, yeah.
So in all, not to put you on the spot, how many different types do you think you have?
That's a tough question.
That's a very tough question. So because it means that there's a lot of variety.
And we make slippers as well. We make slippers. We make slippers. We make half shoes as well. Because in our company, what we do is that we're always like listening to what the trends are. We're always trying to pay attention to what the general demands are. Because now kaftans people are really big on kaftans. In the past, people wear kaftan but wear like imported shoes. But now people want to free their toes. That's what we call it. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll be taking a break soon. But when we come back, we are in the era of the pandemic. COVID-19 is ravaging all parts of the world. Fortunately, our economy has been tipped to do better than we earlier anticipated when the virus started. Now, in your line of business, we've seen across the world, in the US, UK, businesses are collapsing. People are asking for all sorts of relief. We want to find out what COVID-19 has done to Phil and Joe Shoe Company, whether there's been any effect, how you're surmounting this effect, and what you think other companies should do, not necessarily shoe companies, but other brands.
General.
So I wanted to stew on that for me. We'll take a quick commercial break. This is Spotlight Business. My name is Philip Nanfuri. My guest, Philip Ajipon, CEO, Phil and Joe Shoe Company. We've been talking about his business when he started. He's a young man just like myself, but he seems to have made it far ahead of me. We'll be taking a quick break. We'll be right back.
world, young people like you and I are making great change.
3 presidents have been to this ungrateful party.
My cousin here wants power, but he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
Your campaign has been saddled with a lot of issues, and it won't survive another scandal.
Is there something I should know? I want to know Anagona.
She's only doing something we're all afraid to do.
Anaba, so what kind of lessons are we putting out there for our youngsters?
Most of us don't even know what we want until it hits us in the face.
Every single time he comes around, she just turns into this emotional, wishy-washy, love-struck thing. That is exactly what she needs.
You're president for 8 years. You make me president for another 8. You rule for 16 years. You continue. What you didn't finish. You build your legacy. You have your way with me. You use me as usual.
Are you going after a man who has championed your political career to this point? A man who got you sponsors to back your ambitions?
What the hell?
Hey! Don't! Just need to speak.
It's a blatant disregard for due process, Charlotte. And I'm not having it.
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market, to our central bank, to insights on insurance and investment, Spotlight is a show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business. Right, thanks for your company and welcome back to Spotlight Business. My name is Philip Nanfuri. My guest, Philip Ajapong, CEO of Phil and Joe Shoe Company. We've been talking about his start since 2013, how he transitioned from casual shoes into more corporate shoes, the different types of shoes he has, how he tailors what he has to fit the needs of customers out there. And so far, he's been doing great. And one important thing he's told us that he's been self-reliant in the start of his business. And this is something a lot of businesses out there. Because if you look at MSME research, it will tell you that in the first 10 years, most businesses collapse. And he's survived 7 years. He's going on stronger and stronger. Even in the time of COVID, people are still placing orders for shoes. So now we want to delve into COVID-19 and its impact on his business specifically. He has something interesting to share with us. So when the first case was discovered in March, what initially went through your mind? Did you think there will be an immediate, because at that time we were all now learning of it.
Yeah.
Did you think there will be an immediate impact on your business or no?
So, I mean, same with everybody in the world. We're all surprised, right? And then what had happened now was there's some tough conversations that we had to have within our little setup, which was one being people are going to obviously prioritize necessities before luxury products. Nobody is thinking about. You remember there was a whole scare. People are buying more food. Yeah. People are just like panic buying all over. Yeah. Then I thought about it. I'm like, obviously, even I'm not thinking of, I want to buy a new kaftan or a new shirt around this era. So that reality was there. That's the first reality, that I'm not going to get any orders during this era. So that's end of March. The lockdown started. So that started. Secondly, I was thinking about my employees.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if I'm not going to get orders, it means they're also not going to produce anything.
Yeah.
So then that happened. Now everybody has to go home because the country was on lockdown for a few weeks. They're home now. Next thing is I still have to pay them because it's not their fault.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they still have families that they are
that depend on them.
Yeah, exactly. So that had happened. So just 3 different problems that are going through. Then now my employees have left. They don't come anymore to the factory. Some of them have gone back to their hometowns. I mean, they're all over the place. Still no orders. Still no demand for the product. There's no money coming in. Obviously, we had other investments to sustain the people.
Yeah.
But then I have some people on payroll that are apprentices. They are not like permanent staff. But those guys are like the engine of the factory as well. So let's fast forward to the end of the lockdown when work was about to start again. Some of these employees were re-employed. Like, I mean, I had 3 people call me, I've started farming in my village or my hometown. And then I have another person that said, during the time that they were just waiting for this luxury, he got another job somewhere, so he's not looking to come back. And I have 4 people say that. And this was a major hit. So now lockdown is over, real life has started. There's demand. Surprisingly, there was a demand for. We had like a Father's Day sale in July. That was really good for us. People ordered and whatnot. But then now my production was affected because I had less amount of workers.
Okay.
So that too also affected us. So right now production times had to increase and all of that. So COVID really did a lot to us. I also have a situation where my most of our leather is sourced from Italy, right?
Okay.
So in April, getting to May, I got a call from the leather supplier saying that my container can't come. I'm like, why? He said, from a small town in Italy, there's no shipments coming out. I'm like, wow, it's that deep.
Yes.
So the stock that he had was supposed to be shared by because a lot of people buy from him. So his pricing had to go up. So, but then do I now tell customers that weren't willing to buy during the lockdown era, prioritizing necessities, that, I have to increase my pricing because my raw materials have gone up because my supplier can't bring in more raw materials. I mean, how do you explain it to them?
Yeah.
So in various ways.
So currently, as we speak, I mean, we are picking up the economy.
Real life is starting.
How are things now?
It picked up nicely, actually. It picked up nicely. Like, there was like a quick, like I was saying, from July till now, there's a quick turnaround. It's not, the numbers are not as high.
What it was before the pandemic struck.
But then we've made what's it called? Arrangements for that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also another part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I know the COVID conversation is broad.
Very broad.
It stokes a lot of emotion, so I don't want us to get too much into detail. But I see that you've been able to weather the storm. You spoke about investments you put aside.
Yeah.
That you've used to more or less augment
Exactly.
what is going on. Do you think, generally speaking, do you think businesses like yours, MSMEs, should do that? Because I know people had to be laid off. I've had people come to me asking for all sorts of help. Do you think businesses going forward should start putting away funds for a rainy day just in case something like this happens again? Do you think it's a sound advice?
100%. 100%. Multiple streams of income. Like, you're running your main thing, but I don't know. Like, try and look around, find things that might be related to the main thing that you're doing, or then other low-risk investments that you can, like, store money in and put money away for these rainy days, because it surprised everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's something you would want to comment on, or feel free to comment on. A lot of people were seeking government help in this period. US, UK, even in Ghana, government rolled out a plethora of programs to aid businesses like
relief
yours.
funds and whatnot.
Did you ever think you'd want to subscribe to one?
I
Have you subscribed
had
to one?
other people, other friends of mine in SMEs told me about this government relief fund or COVID relief fund.
Yeah.
I actually had people approach me, right? Some guy who works in my account said, listen, he can work it out and let's apply for 100,000, 200,000. I'm like, like I said, I don't believe. I mean, it looked very attractive. They tell you you don't pay for 24 months or 48 months, something. There's like a whole thing on it. But then I was a bit reluctant because, as you know, I didn't know what the future
of this will be.
Yeah. So am I going for more money to produce more goods for God knows when they'll sell?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it was. Yes, I still have letters on my table, like saying that, do you want this, apply for whatever, but I'm like, no.
Okay.
Let me see what the situation is. Even till now, I mean, we're still in the same era, so you sort of have to figure it out before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also another interesting perspective in terms of the business world. You are very active on social media.
Yeah.
I think you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter.
Instagram, Twitter,
are you on Facebook?
and Facebook.
Are you on LinkedIn? Not yet?
No, not on
Not yet.
LinkedIn.
Okay.
No.
The impact of social media on businesses in general.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what have some of the positives been? And if you'd want to share the negatives, that's fine. If you don't want to, I know a lot of people don't want to get into the negative side of things.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, what has been the impact of this on your business?
Okay, so social media actually plays a very key role in what I do. We have a website that runs, philandroshoes.com. It runs everything, but then social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, most of our customers come from these platforms. And you know, like they have all of these tools to promote and to boost and all of these things, right? But then I say social media is a bit tricky too, because the same place that gives you all of this positive energy, if you tip the scale or if you move to it wrongly, those are the same people that will drag you, as for the lack of a better word. But then Instagram, we have most of our attractions from Instagram. And also the thing about social media is pictures, right? So people see the pictures there, and then the main question they ask you is this exactly what I'm going to get?
And have you ever had a customer come to tell you that he didn't get exactly what he sent?
100%, especially with colors, because then sometimes you hire these photographers and the kind of edits takes away what the true color of the pair is, and then because it's mostly visuals, you can how do you explain that? Oh, there's a little bit of hue or saturation or something in the pair, but then as time goes on, I like to give a little disclaimer in the DM that our leathers are not we don't produce a lot of the same thing, unless of course it's basic colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a follow up on the whole customer perspective.
Yeah.
Just last week, I discussed customer service with a lady who runs her own institute, and I was asking her if there's a customer who is never ever satisfied. In your business, have you ever encountered a customer who you feel whatever shoe you've produced, whether classy, whether you've skinned the whole animal to produce that shoe, he doesn't really or she doesn't really care about it, the person doesn't still feel satisfied? Have you ever had an encounter?
100%.
And what do you do to more or less appease them, if I can use that word?
100%. We've had customers like that. Customers that were not budging at all. I don't believe in offering. I don't believe in giving up on an order and saying, you know what, I can't do it. This is your money. I refunded. I want to be able to push all through to the end. So, because I believe in referrals. Social media is powerful. Social media, all of these, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, is all powerful. But referrals, I feel, is one of the greatest tools. The fact that you will tell somebody else, it means you've tested it and you're happy with it. So to leave a customer unsatisfied, I don't want my customers or people who try to be my customers to be in the same place and say, no, we've tried them, no, it didn't work out. So I tell, even if it take a longer time, hang on with me. Let's do this together. It's Shoes by Phil for the Joe.
Yeah.
It's a partnership. Let's do this together. We try, but then there's obviously always a point where it's like,
you can't try any further.
yeah.
Okay. Broadly speaking, if you look at MSMEs,
Yeah.
you realize that they face a number of challenges. You spoke about access to finance at the beginning.
Yeah.
People talk about lack of managerial skills.
Yeah.
People talk about the regulatory environment,
Yeah.
government not doing enough. From your perspective, what do you think is a major challenge? I know some people may not want to voice out their challenges,
Yeah.
which will seem like they are giving out their Achilles heel. But can you give us some insight as to where you think you need more improvement? Not you necessarily, but
Yeah,
maybe
my setup.
shoe companies in general, what you've heard, what you've picked up from the industry. What do you think needs a much more greater push?
Okay, so I'll go back to the thing about, I can start listing electricity being the problem because, yeah, my factory, my lights go off. I can start saying that unavailability of raw materials, because sometimes what happens is the importers ship in a certain grade, but we are promising our customers top quality, but then we are only getting a certain grade of leather. I don't know whether you get what I mean. So we have to work with what we are working with, right? I can go into that. There's other things. Recently, my factory flooded because then the drainage was terrible in front of the factory. That too is a problem. But then for me personally, the main thing, and I say, and I've said already, is the human resource. Trying to get a set of people that share in the same vision. Because I'm out there telling a story. I'm out there saying that I'm producing shoes not for pity purchase. It's a product that I'm putting out there, not for pity purchase. I don't want you to see and like, oh, I'm supporting whatever. I know it's made in Ghana, that's fine. But I want you to see a pair of shoes and say, it's because it's a good quality pair of shoes, right? And these are workers that we're working with that you need to now instill that same thing in your heart into their minds as well. Working with Ghanaians, working with like Ghanaian artisans, right? And no, I wouldn't lie. I have some of the best artisans that I work with, but they have a take it like that attitude.
Okay.
Which is take it like that. Basically, I don't know how to explain it, but then it's take it like that. But I can also explain to people paying good quality money for a quality product that take it like that. It doesn't fly well with them. So human resource workers is one of my greatest challenges.
And how do you think, maybe not you specifically, but broadly, I mean, it's something that we face generally in the corporate world, and it's much more mild in the bigger corporate setting because they've already achieved something.
Yeah.
But you are now in your process of getting to that stage. How do you think you can influence positively that mindset? What are some things that you think you can do? Because they always say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks or something like that. What do you think you can do to more or less infuse it into people's heads?
So like I was saying, the training and retraining. Sometimes we go to work and we're only watching YouTube videos. They don't understand what that means. I'm like, listen, we are going to learn. Okay. All of us sit down in a circle. I put on my projector, and all we're watching is the night before, 2 nights before, I've looked for videos to make stuff right. And that's all that we are doing. Training and retraining, and explain to them that, have you seen, in Tree, of course.
Okay.
Have you seen how it's being done? And it's, yes, okay, cool. Then we are watching retraining over and over and over again, because that's the only thing. Then I'll say 2 samples. Do it over and over. Let me see that. Try and mimic, because I believe in copying. I believe that if somebody's doing something great, you have to admire it. You can't just ignore and be like, oh, I'll try and do better. Just mimicking, I believe in this strongly. Just try and have your version of it, but then look at their strategy.
And you think over time it will get better?
Yes.
You believe so?
I believe so.
Are you seeing some fruits?
Of course, yeah.
Of your labor already?
Yeah.
Okay. Broadly speaking, I'm sure you've had interactions with other business owners.
Yeah.
You've seen the MSME space. The future of micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, such as yours.
Yeah.
What do you think the future looks like for them within the Ghanaian context, broadly speaking?
I would say I mean, I can only speak for myself now, right? Moving forward, what I want to do is I want to be able to scale up enough to create employment for local communities.
Okay.
And then help with the training as well. We started off training some people that have no skills at all. It's a side thing that I do where we pick up some people in the local communities and give them a new skill, empower them to do something. So you come on, you're shadowing some of the main artisans. So I want to be able to become big enough to employ whole communities, give them skills, show them that you can do it right here in Ghana, same kind of quality, and then, yeah.
Okay. I know this is something you may not want to share.
No, tell me about it.
Perhaps it's your secret sauce. You know how people move from only shoe production, they go and add a bag, they add a belt.
Yeah.
You want to complete the human, so that when I walk into Phil and Joe, I get my shoes, probably I get my socks, I can get a suit,
the whole
partners, the whole 9 yards. Do you ever think you'll get to that point in the next 10, 20, 30 years where when I enter a Phil and Joe shop,
the one-stop shop.
I'm out.
So what I'll tell you is currently, or what we do as part of our structure is we are constantly listening to what our customers are saying. So we wouldn't necessarily hop into something unless, of course, we've done like extensive research. But definitely in 2021, we have new and amazing products in our portfolio. We put it out there for everybody.
You want to give us some of these new products?
Oh, in due time. In due time. If you follow us on Instagram, Phil and Joe 233. All of those updates are going to be on there.
Okay.
2021.
But apart from, I mean, the shoe production, you as an individual, you as Philip, do you ever think you may add something else?
Another business line.
Another business. Do you ever think so?
Definitely. The world is dynamic,
and
we're always moving forward.
And what area do you think we are looking at?
Also in due time. Also in due time.
A little bit told me that perhaps you might enter into ministry. Is that right or wrong?
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
But yeah. But I mean, broadly speaking, when you look back in a sort of with hindsight in a reflective state, given where you've come from, I mean, when you sit, look at us back in school, going for classes, what sort of emotions go through you? How do you feel? Like, looking back, you'd be like, oh, I did it.
Now, sometimes I still can't believe it. I was telling friends of mine, and I believe you're also there, who had they had an intervention for me. Yeah. My final year of
Legon.
Of Legon, right. They sat me down and said, no, you can't be running this business and... No, I mean, they sat me down. You were there as well.
I was. But then in the end, you did graduate. Well, you did do well in school, and you are still doing well with the business. Since you don't want to give us a lot in terms of what you want to do and where you are going. Yeah. But I think largely we have a lot of young viewers watching us. If you were to share advice with them, if you were called to, for example, the University of Ghana Business School or the University of Ghana itself, our former department, Geography department, what sort of advice would you give to the young ones in there?
Concentration. As in, whatever you decide to do, you need to be thorough about it. Pick up one thing. I mean, people try and fish around other whatever, right? If you can do the research well on something, there's a secret and concentration. It's from a book that I read. I use it to run my company. It's called Art of Leadership. If you can concentrate, put your mind to it, I feel like you move far with whatever venture it is. But then you need to read around what you're doing. I mean, you're going to concentrate, but if it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea. But if you can pick it up, check all the elements on it, and pick up one thing and concentrate on it, I feel like you'll be amazing at it.
You didn't take the 9-to-5 route.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for people who are doing do you think you discourage people from doing the regular 9 to 5 jobs?
Not at all. There are nights where, as an entrepreneur, I've cried. And then I'm like, oh, so if I was just doing a 9 to 5, but then the times that I have to celebrate, I celebrate. I'm saying that if that's the path that you've taken, some people are not like natural born leaders, because there's some, you have to be able to take tough decisions. And if that's not you, that's not you. I actually advise people, like, are you sure you cry? Tell them, no, there are nights that you cry. There are nights that you feel like there's nothing going on. Pack up. And then have to go and get an office job. Then can you wear the crown? Can you wear that crown? You understand? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, whatever. Just, are you sure you can, you know? But if that's not your path, if that's not your path, don't do it.
Okay.
I tell you.
We are just in the final minutes of our conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, looking at your stats, you've taken us through some of the things you're doing.
Yeah.
You've been a bit tight on the future of where you're going, whether we'll see an array of different things. Because it will be interesting to walk into your shop and then walk out carrying your bags with your suit and everything.
Yeah.
But just to wrap up, final concluding words for you, for our viewers, our listeners, who's watching at home. What advice does Philip Ajipong, also known as Kobe Sparks, even though you don't want us to mention
I've rebranded. I've rebranded.
What sort of advice would you have for the entrepreneurship space? People who want to also start and move into it. You've mentioned concentration. Yeah. But I want you to speak to them again and tell them.
Okay, I would say I'll also go and I'll say branding is everything, and it's something that you need to be careful about, because however you put yourself out there is what people accept, right? So, like, I get phone calls from, like, upcoming entrepreneurs, and I tell them, listen, your first set of shots have to be, you have to package it well. Don't do it anyhow, because exactly what you put out there is what people see. And I tell you, a good name is actually better than riches. Yeah. If you can keep your name good, it's better than the money that you make. People argue with me on that. But then if you can brand well, you need to actually take time off to think about, be thorough with your branding. Think about it. Have a branding schedule. Have it for everything, because people are drawn by what they see. So if you can figure out the branding well. But then there are other companies, like a company that works on my branding and my social media. It's called Social Ghana. Very top guys. They put me in a space where I'm visible. I'm showing, giving out the right
vibes.
Yeah, the right vibes, exactly.
Okay. Philip, I want to say a very big thank you.
Thank you
for joining us on here. It's been very interesting to discuss. Philip Ajipong, CEO Phil and Joe Shoe Company. He's been taking us through his business start, and he said that the future will be bright when it comes to his shoe production. He was tight-lipped on other things that he would delve into. But it's been an interesting conversation. For those of you who are interested in entrepreneurship, I want to say a very big thank you for joining us, and to him and his team for making him available to us. I wish you a good night. This is Spotlight Business. My name is Philip Nanfuri. My guest again, Philip Ajipong, CEO Phil and Joe Shoe Company. Do have a good night. Bye.